All right, we have our special guest and advertiser.
Woo.
People are saying advertising is down. Not for group chat. It is booming. We are getting big advertisers.
100% month-over-month growth.
That's true. That's a fact.
And I think the most interesting thing about it is we talked about the current guest last week, who his friends who listen to the podcast reached out about his wedding that got canceled. So I'm sorry about your wedding, but the good news is you're officially a group chat advertiser.
Yeah. I like how you repurpose
Nothing's
the funds.
better than that.
He repurposed his wedding funds
That's
to
true.
buy
He's
a
got
group chat.
some cash just freed up.
Is this all wedding money you're using to fund the group chat ad?
Maybe. But no, I was tired of those Trello ads, so I had to do this.
Yes, thank you. I think you're gonna. A lot of group chat listeners are gonna be happy. So you are the co-founder of Buffy. Fun fact: I actually been using a Buffy comforter for 2 years. So big fan of the product. But tell us about Buffy. How long have you been doing the business?
Yeah, so we launched 2 years ago, about December 2017, so a little over 2 years ago, and I've grown quite fast over the last 2 years. Really, just to give you the intro, Buffy is a direct-to-consumer soft home startup. So we primarily focus on bedding products. And, you're probably thinking, damn, another bedding company. But what really makes us unique is we use either natural or sustainable materials in our products. So our fabric is made from eucalyptus, which uses only 10% of water of cotton. It's much more biodegradable. And functionally speaking, it's super soft and cooling to the touch. And then for our fill material, we used recycled PET, so recycled bottles that would have ended up in landfills, oceans, or being burned. And we upcycle them into a super soft and fluffy fill. Almost like when you see cotton candy being spun, like that, super soft and fluffy, except you just can't eat it.
So, I'm wearing the comforter now. I'm a fan of the product. I think being hot at night is disgusting. Like, it reminds me of being in summer in India when our family did not have air conditioning and it was 143 degrees in Bangalore in the summer.
Yeah.
And I remember how hot they'd have one fan for the whole house. And I'm like, fuck, it's hot here. This is very cooling. And like, I don't even understand it because I hate hot pillows. I hate hot blankets. I'm just a hot guy.
Real hot guy
Is
over
that
here.
a double entendre?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Just a hot guy over here.
But like, so is the eucalyptus in the outer shell or the inner filling?
Yeah, so the comforter that you're wrapped in now, the Breeze, the eucalyptus is inside. So that actually helps with temperature regulation. It helps the air flow in and out much better, the humidity flow in and out much better. And then we also have a comforter that's called the Cloud Comforter, where the fill is the recycled PET. Our Cloud Comforter is a lot more soft and fluffy, and our Breeze is made for temperature regulation. And that's the one that has the eucalyptus.
That's amazing. And how's business given, you just told me you haven't got any PPP yet, so that sucks. Sorry to hear that. But how are you navigating the environment? Because you guys are a pretty significant sized business, and do people care about what they have in their home now because you're home all day? So like, I'm sure people are revisiting their home kind of infrastructure, call it, and saying, I need an upgrade. So how's business been for you guys? What are your customers saying?
Yeah, 100%. So we recently restructured the business a little bit to get on that path of profitability. And as soon as we did that, we brought down our ad spend quite dramatically.
Whoa.
And what we're seeing since then, it's 60% change in ad spend, but we could talk about that later. But really in this time during COVID-19, what we're seeing is our customers still shopping. What we believe is, now that she's not going to brunch, going out at night, has some additional income to spend on bedding products. And, because they're home and want to make their home better, they're continuing to spend. So we've seen a slight uptick, since this time.
And what are strategies that you guys are doing? Because you guys are big at, you said you're reducing your advertising. Like, how does your business evolve, change with everything that's happening? Because like we're dealing with the same thing. Like we're trying to figure out like in 6 months, what does the world look like and how do we think about it? Like, what do you think?
Yeah. So, what we've had to do is really double down on owned media. So really go hard on not paid social, but organic social, as well as email. So continuing to put out a lot of IG stories that help engage with our audience, continuously posting. We also launched a like comfy playlist on Spotify where our users can come and listen to that, and then have been much more active on just sharing interesting things about the brand via email.
So you're in New York. You're based in New York, right?
That's right.
And we've talked about this on the podcast a lot, the work from home. New York office space is very expensive. How do you guys think about your business long term with the new work from home kind of becoming a mandatory? It obviously will go away at some point, but office space in New York is so expensive, and I'm sure it's a big line item for you guys.
100%. So we're actually in Chinatown, so it's much cheaper.
Okay.
But really, like personally, I've found that I'm so much more productive working from home. I found that our meetings, our Google Hangouts, et cetera, are just so much more effective. So I think what we've been thinking about is how do you continue to leverage work from home? I still think we need an office to continue meeting up, having our key meetings. But since we've restructured the business, we don't need as much office space as before. So we're going to sublet some of the space. Hopefully there's someone out there who's going to take it.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
I was saying that, I was like, damn, fuck. So
and you're in Chinatown? I don't know, bro. But okay, so the other thing you guys interestingly do, which I've seen is important in this space, is you offer a free trial. So I get to use the comforter for up to 7 nights.
Put Corona all over it.
And if I don't like it, I could shove it right back in your face. Is that true?
That's true. That is true. So the free trial is a big component of our offer. Just a quick background on it. Before we were launching, we were doing a lot of like product testing, physical product testing, and we'd go to malls and set up pop-ups so that we can get feedback on different comforters. So we had 9 or 10 different comforters propped up, and people would come by and not talk to us and completely ignore us, but they'd put their hand out and graze the comforter and stop immediately and say, holy shit, that is the softest product or softest comforter I've ever felt. And what we realized is to really get this thing going, we need to get the product in the hands of our customers. So in our testing, when we launched the free trial, it increased conversions 3x. And it's a big component of what we offer. We don't resend out used bedding products. That's actually not allowed. But we find ways to donate it or have it recycled.
Amazing. So we're going to do a little competition here. We're doing a discount code. There are 3 different codes. One is drama, one is Anand, and one is D. And you get $20 off your first shipment. If you order using the code D, it is probably going to get you something something special.
Wow, cheating.
Little something special.
Wow.
Maybe I'll FaceTime everyone who uses the code D just to win this competition.
And just to be clear, to spell my name for everyone that's going to buy in large quantities. O-N-A-N-A-N. D is in David. Don't even bother pronouncing it. Just remember how to spell it.
Sounds confusing. That sounds very confusing.
And what's the URL to go to?
You could just go to buffy.co and use that code. Use any of those 3 codes. There's drama, D, and Anand. Whoever gets the most code redemptions will get their entire beds outfitted, every bed in their room.
Wow.
And if you don't like any of these 3 guys, just use the code group chat. No space.
So group chat's going to win.
Oh, man. I can't wait to get new bedding.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for supporting the podcast. We wish you best of luck with the business. I'm glad I have a comforter for the pod. I'm a big comfort guy, so this is great. Thanks for coming on, and good luck, bro. Good luck with the wedding.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I hope you guys had a good time at Coachella.
Yeah. Fuck
Low
off.
blow, man. Low blow.
I'm sorry.
Later, Shoaib.
Okay, good stuff. You look really comfy, hot guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not hot anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm a cool guy. I went from hot guy to cool guy.
Now you're just a cool guy. Okay, before we get started on some news, because as we know, a lot of things are, I would say with a negative tilt. I think we should talk about some positive stuff. So on Monday, we talked about if anyone had any positive stories to share, anything going on, or anyone that they wanted to highlight, let us know, and we would do that. We got a couple.
Yeah, we have some great ones. The first one is the Long Beach Unified School District is still feeding anywhere from 40 to 60,000 meals per week to all children under 18. A lot of people who are students rely on their meals at school because the school district subsidize their food, and luckily the school district is still providing those meals, and the cafeteria people are able to work and provide children with meals every day, which was a serious concern early on in this crisis when they shut down schools. How are they going to feed all these kids?
Yeah, I think anyone who went to public school, especially in the LA Unified School District, which is where Dee and I went, it doesn't matter where your school is located. We were in the Valley in decent neighborhoods. There was still a decent percentage of the population that relied on these meals.
Yeah.
Friends of ours that we grew up with, not everyone, you take for granted 3 meals a day is just something you're guaranteed.
Yeah.
Some families can't afford it.
Yeah.
So this is like critical.
And I mean, we didn't even get the luxury of eating cafeteria food, even though I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because we were vegetarians. So I pretty much ate the same exact lunch for 10 years, which was peanut butter jelly, Capri Sun, Cheez-Its, or
Doritos.
I can't believe how much of a pig you were.
Cool Ranch Doritos. I'd stuff them in the peanut butter jelly sandwich.
How did you guys change?
First day of college.
You realized it wasn't acceptable?
No.
You wouldn't have any friends?
No, you know what happened? This is how
Did you get bullied?
And bear in mind,
People were like, what the
I studied. I did very well in school, and I thought I was well informed as a human being.
Yeah, that's what-
First day of college, I go grocery shopping. I go to the grocery store, load up my fridge, or the communal fridge, and a friend of mine, who's a friend now, at the first day goes, "Man, you really drink a lot of soda." And I'm like, "Is that bad for you?"
Don't we all?
And I'm like, he's like, "Well, you're having like 5 a day." I'm like, "Is that bad?" I'm like, "I don't know." I mean, I'm like, I genuinely asked him. He's like, "It's so much sugar." And I've never looked until I was freshman year of college how much sugar soda had. And then, no joke, that day onward, I did not drink a sip of fucking soda ever. Like, if I had a Coke, it'd be like, once in a blue moon, I'd have a Coke. But like the habit I had of like 6 sodas a day or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Easily 6. Easily 6. Wild cherry Coke, wild cherry Pepsi.
So I got to tell you, I actually, in college, I was still eating like a pig.
Yeah.
But I got away with it because my roommates and I would play like 4 hours of basketball a day. And we would go to the cafeteria, steal a Mountain Dew Code Red.
Yeah.
And we'd walk out and down Mountain Dew Code
God, I don't even know you guys.
Yeah.
I don't really know you.
I corrected myself when I got my first job, which was investment banking. And I was literally in the office 16 hours a day. And then I realized like I have literally no time to work out. And I just was like, I never
But people
got
had
fat.
to say
You got a
something.
little chubby. there was a chubby face.
But
right
did
out
your
of
new
college when
friends
you were
like call
working.
you out? Were your new friends like, "Hey, pig, what are you doing?"
No, I think kids in their early 20s just have fast
I
metabolism.
mean, when you went into the banking industry where people were like,
Oh, no, they eat like shit.
"Oh, okay."
They
they're
encourage
pigs.
it.
Yeah, they're
Peanut
strong.
M&Ms, like all this nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I just want to say bullying does serve a purpose.
Yes.
You know? And I
They-
think sometimes you got to, if you think everything's right, get out around some other groups and see what you're getting bullied about.
How do you think I got here? Got bullied.
I mean,
my
we're
way
literally
here.
going to save your life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you
and you're
would've-
just bullying me every day, and it's great.
Yeah.
and it will work. Trust
I've
me,
never been
man.
happier.
Long term, this is going to pay off.
Yeah, I can feel it. I know
Because at least
it.
we're bullying you in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. So shout out to Long Beach Unified School District.
Yep.
And then the other really cool story is actually from someone I met when we did a run club in New York ages ago now. Tony, who runs a company called Brooklyn Hot Dog Company. And he was fortunate enough to see a little bit of an uptick in his online business for his hot dog business. So he's actually donating 10% of, I believe, sales to other restaurants that aren't able to kind of operate or are seeing a struggle. So it's really cool that other entrepreneurs are helping other folks. So the website is brooklynhotdogcompany.com, and they're donating to other NYC restaurants that need help. And a lot of these restaurants have relationships with hospitals, and everyone's kind of pitching in. So good job, Tony and the team, and keep donating that money. Go shop and spend some money there so he can keep helping the people around him.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
Is that it?
That's two positive stories. Now I have a really shitty story.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to mix it up. Keep people on their toes.
So the shitty story is, which is really scary, of how hard it's going to be to restart this economy. So I'm not going to mention businesses and names, but it's a business in retail in California that is considering to sell some essential products to hopefully reopen their business. Talking to him yesterday, he starts telling me, I can't get anyone to come back to work. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I furloughed them. They're collecting unemployment. And in California, you're getting an additional $600 a week right now. We don't know how long that's going to last. Plus, you're going to get your $1,200 in the next week or so.
So unemployment, I think, is what, $400 a week tax-free? Is that really what it... I know it's some percentage of what you make, but I think they top you out at that. Is that right?
I don't think that's
500?
right. We have to look. Maybe closer to.
But whatever that number is, they're adding 600.
Yes.
A week.
So if you're getting $400 a week in unemployment and get 600, you're getting $1,000 a week.
That's a good deal.
Tax-free.
Yeah.
Plus the $1,200.
Bro,
That
fucking
Uncle Donald's
fire
selling.
me.
Times are
Fire
good.
me.
Yeah, Pete,
I do
no
not want
chance.
this job. I will work for free, actually.
Nope.
You could
I
get,
would just volunteer.
I mean, if you live in California and you could clean up this month with $5,200.
Tax-free. That's the equivalent of making $10,000 a month.
I mean, I will say, like, once again, not to name any names, but I've obviously asked a lot of people, our friends and stuff, what they're doing with letting people off and stuff like that. And, like, I mean, props to California, at least for now, because it takes so much stress off of the business owners. Because they're like, yeah, we have to let a lot of people go. But for most people, it's a better situation.
Yeah. I mean, getting $5,200 tax-free is kind of high. Pete's like, fire me.
Maybe StockX is going to be booming. They're going right to buy those
Yeah, that's
off-whites.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're totally right. Damn it, man.
But this is, when I heard this story, I got very, very concerned about how do we restart the economy, because what's going to happen is, let's say California can stomach a month of this, but in 3 weeks they start reopening things. People are going to stretch it as long as they could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the
And
scary...
most people aren't making $5,200 a month.
Right, but the scary part is that person who's getting that money, don't be fooled in 3 months when the money stops, because the economy's going to reopen. I don't know when.
Yeah.
They're going to stop paying that.
Oh, yeah.
And your job's not going to be there.
Oh, yeah. And you're going to
So-
just get comfy as shit. 5,200 rolling in. You're
Save
drinking
it all.
6 sodas a day like D in college.
Yeah.
What, work for what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that the scary part is, I think if all the states are doing things like this now, great, because the economy is shut down.
Yeah.
But when we reopen, the job's not going to be there, and that stipend's not going to be there, and that's when the rubber kind of meets the road.
What does that
see,
mean?
man. This is that's
Rubber,
where
this, that.
that's where it
the
gets
road.
real.
Okay.
That's where the business, that's where the action happens. Okay. Who's ready for some news? Thank you, Pete.
Somebody's ready.
Someone's trying to get that 5,200. Someone's trying to get fired.
He's like me. Can we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Fuck you, D.
You
Shut the fuck up, drama, you
By
piece
the way,
of shit,
we're
D.
not even recording.
Pete starts yelling racial slurs at us.
Oh my
When
God.
are these towel heads gonna shut up?
Oh my God.
No, I never said that.
Oh my God. Okay. So predictions, right? We've been big on predictions on this podcast. We made a lot of predictions about the coronavirus, and I will once again, I hate to do this, but I'll give it up to Anand. He was the closest.
And I don't take pride in being right with the world shut down. Let's
I
be
know,
clear.
but go ahead and take your victory lap. But listen, so there's a new prediction coming out about the economy. And they are saying now that this will be really Great Depression level numbers. Unemployment through the roof. Unemployment, I think, is like blowing people's minds. I think we kind of sniffed that out a couple weeks ago, that it was going to be way worse than expected. It's still the fact that this is where it's heading, and there's really no end in sight. I mean, I think everyone's getting a little antsy and talking about reopening the economy, but that's not going to happen. And the moment you do it, there's an uptick in viruses. But the point is, they are predicting Great Depression type numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I've read I follow a lot of economists on social media and read their like blog posts, and I haven't seen one encouraging piece of news. And today, the governors of 10 states, I think all Democratic governors, kind of got together, mainly, New York, California, and started laying out what they call a reopening strategy, because these 10 states represent 38% of the economy. It's California, New York, Oregon, states like that. And it's happening right now, and I've read a little bit about it. It's not very clear. I think what the head fake that everyone is doing, including Trump and governors, is let's start putting that notion of reopening out into the universe. Yeah. And then see what happens. Because once you say reopening, that's enough kind of comfort where people are going to be like, okay, a reopening is going to happen. Let's just, now the fact that we're close till June won't matter as much. I think that's what they're really doing.
Plus, I think that these numbers are so devastating that it's hard to even accept. Like, everyone's like, okay, let's talk about a plan. Let's get it. You know what I mean? And like, it's so bad that you can't just say, we don't know, and it'll probably be July.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, is that like the reopening rhetoric is almost as funny as how they were saying this was a hoax 3 months ago or 2 months ago now, that we're just going to keep saying reopening because it'll shift the momentum to being positive, which I appreciate. I think that is the right move. But I also think that like giving people false hope or false information is also incorrect. I'll give you an example. Johnson & Johnson reported their earnings today. And on the earnings, they said that assuming all vaccine things go to the right phase and quickly kind of happens, they'll start doing trials in the fall, September, and that by the beginning of the year, they could have potentially 1 billion vaccines available. Assuming there are other companies that will also help manufacture it. So we're still talking next year to get vaccines. And then how do you vaccinate 1 billion or 5 billion or 6 billion people? Yeah, assuming there's 1 billion of Eric Deluxes out there that are anti-vaxxers.
For sure.
Okay, maybe even 2 billion.
Take them off the list.
Okay, and then you take all the rural countries you can't even get to. So what does reopening the economy mean? Reopening means more than likely we're going to have some corona cases, but we're okay with it now.
Yeah, so to your point about the vaccine, it has to be a pill, because if it requires an injection, we have to go to CVS, and how many people are actually going to do that other than like informed and educated people, which is 1% of the population? You're going to have a whole percentage of the population that are like, I'm not going there. I don't trust them. CVS, fuck that. And they're going to be like, I'll just roll the dice. Yeah. And that's going to cause a huge problem. I feel like the only way we actually vaccinate, at least in the U.S., is if it's a pill and if you make Amazon deliver it to every household.
What you should do is you got to take the pill to get your next $1,200.
Right. Then everyone will take it. That's a good one.
You know what I like that.
But to your point about the economy, so this is the Unilever CEO, one of the biggest consumer companies around.
Yep.
Let me be clear, coronavirus is not a positive on Unilever on a commercial basis, despite growth in consumption of many items. Only in the U.S. have we seen this dramatic pantry hoarding. The U.S. consumer has bigger house size and more appetite for credit card debt. He's basically saying, like...
We're idiots.
don't like this like 3 weeks of hoarding. Sure, some companies are seeing the boost, but it's not going to last, and the rest of consumption is going to go down.
But also look at like America. We got big houses, shit ton of debt, and a lot of toilet paper. That's America.
Yeah, and in America, I've had tons of conversations with people about this. People are over-levered from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich, just at different levels. Yeah. So rich people are just as over-levered as middle-class people, as the lower part of the economy. But it's just the U.S. isn't built for this.
Yeah. No.
You're not built the way we use credit card debt and the way we use loans on businesses. No one has 12 months of cash flow sitting in a bank. No one does. It's month to month for almost every business and every individual.
Yeah.
So this is like as catastrophic as you can possibly think when you literally went from your probably peak of business because the economy was on fire to zero. And month over month over month.
But it's okay. The stock market
of course.
Raging high again today.
Unbelievable.
Raging high.
I mean, that's one of the most frustrating things to me about this whole thing.
Who's the joke on?
Us.
Is it just you guys? Are you guys like the smart ones here, and just like nobody else in this world is realizing this?
No, every single person I've talked to.
So then, like, how is this being let happen?
Pete, that's not how you get fired, man. That was a really nice thing to say.
I know.
Everyone's in
Are
just.
you guys
I do need
the
this
only
job
smart
longer.
ones in the whole world?
Yeah.
So
No, the
take it back.
smarter ones. Let me clarify. The smarter ones are doing all of this and
I know.
making a killing.
So
off of it.
the only explanation I've gotten that makes sense temporarily is just the Fed and what we talked about in the last podcast has basically said blue chip companies, you're fine. S&P 500, you're fine. Dow 30, you're fine. You guys are fine, and that's what represents the stock market. But at some point, the consumer doesn't show up, and when does that even, or is it just the Fed going to BlackRock and all the multi-trillion-dollar funds and saying, you're buying, you're buying, you're buying.
Just keep buying.
Keep buying.
What does it matter?
That's the only thing, that's the only smart explanation I have, because all the smart, quote unquote, smart money is betting that the market's
They're
going
like,
down.
when you're not open, give me 1 million shares. You haven't dropped off anyone in months. You buy 1 million
I
shares.
mean, no time in sight for when the win will be at full capacity.
How about Live Nation?
Wait,
When's the next concert?
okay, so
We'll give you an answer, maybe.
so that's one of our topics. Let's just jump to it.
Yep.
They said concerts could comfortably open. This is a New York Times health panelist. Fall 2021. So
Fall.
you didn't hear. They are pre-selling tickets to the Drake show for fall 21 right now. You
No
wanna buy 'em?
Coachella next year, guys.
Yeah, there's no Coachella
There's
next
no
year.
Coachella 2021.
I don't think unless everyone is vaccinated, this is what you hear. Unless there's a world where everyone has like a clearance tag that says, hey, I don't have it, or I have the antibodies, I have gotten vaccinated. How are we all going to be going to a place?
Here's the thing, right? If you're one of the vaccinated people, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's fine. You then but here's the thing is in April, let's say not everyone has gotten vaccinated and it's Coachella time again, and the vaccinated people go because they're fine. The antibody people go, that's fine. But like, there's going to be people that don't have either that are at risk that shouldn't be allowed to go.
But they're still
Yeah,
going
but
to
screw
go.
it. That's their own.
Yeah,
That's natural selection.
So I just read Gavin Newsom just did a press conference.
Ping, 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 ping.
Sorry, that was too
So
much.
Gavin Newsom just did a press conference, governor of California, and it was like the path to reopen. And I was like, oh wow, we're on the verge of reopening. He listed 8 things that just aren't going to happen.
No. I just think there's so much pressure because people are just bleeding out.
Yeah.
People are sick. Other people are just bleeding out with no end in sight. Like you have to give some sort of sign that something is coming. Because if not, people are going to lose their shit. I mean, can we at least get Wilshire open for jogging and physical activity? Whatever happened to that plan?
Yeah, it'd be great
Up in Oakland, there's Runyon Canyon in the city.
Yeah.
Think about the long-term health consequences of people sitting at home, eating like shit, drinking, not being active, not exercising, the mental health component.
Yeah, that's what we said weeks ago. I said I think the depression and mental health aspect of this is going to be way bigger. Suicide, all those things.
And just like basic health issues. Like think about how many people are going to have higher cholesterol,
Diabetes,
and
sugar.
I think a lot of people, once again, like we're very lucky to be really informed, be around other really informed people, all that stuff. a lot of people won't bounce back from just, even if it's 6 months out of sitting on your couch eating Doritos.
Yeah.
That you just won't bounce back from that.
No.
It's wild.
And the thing about it is that we're still in the first phase of layoffs. So like if you look at one of the topics we're talking about is unemployment, and we talked about how people are getting fat, making $5,200 a month in California. The first round of layoffs were all like your hospitality, your travel, those
Hourly
folks.
workers,
hourly
basically.
workers, right? And then now it's obviously. There's no end in sight, right? We're exactly at the a month away from we think LA County might reopen, because they pushed it to May 15th, right? So let's just assume that's even a real number. By the time May 15th comes around, the consumption is going to even go down even more.
Yeah, I think the missing piece with all of this is I don't think consumption goes up when you have 3 months of compounding unemployment, even if we're reopen.
Yeah.
Like what's someone tell me the scenario we have? Let's say June 1. Okay, let's be optimistic. June 1, we do this 50% restaurant capacity. What restaurant can make money with 50% capacity? Zero.
In and out.
Sure.
I mean, In-N-Out is cranking right now.
I run by the In-N-Out all the time. The line.
Every
Wait, are
In-N-Out.
those people inside?
Yes.
No way.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. Take out.
Wait, so you can line up?
There's
and-
not like lines out. Everyone's in cars.
Like Postmates or something.
Nobody.
Oh, in cars. You can't walk in the venue.
I saw people walking out with their sandwiches.
Yeah,
There's
you might be
just
able to
no
walk in
line.
and grab. You might be able to walk in and grab, but there's no people at the tables.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's down the street.
Yeah,
Every
so
single
I
one.
was in Westwood the first day of lockdown. Official restaurants can't be open.
Yep.
And every single person had an In-N-Out in their hand.
Yes. I've been there 7 times since the lockdown.
In-N-Out's business is through the roof.
Because that's somewhere you can
So
go.
your thesis is incorrect.
That's somewhere you can go where you get freshly made, everything but healthy, delightful food.
For
Yeah.
cheap.
Because everything else
Very
is
cheap.
Postmates, very cheap. Everything
mean-
else, I've been Postmating my ass off. And, things just don't travel the same. You go to In-N-Out, you get a fresh burger.
You pull over. You pull over.
Pull over. I eat it in the car.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's American dream.
They're
Do you do a
killing it.
milkshake too? Or just the burger?
I
and
don't
fries?
go milkshake, but I'm thinking about it.
might as well.
I mean, we're on whatever. We're on lockdown. I want to get fat.
And you can't even see a doctor if you wanted to if you don't have corona. It's like,
Whatever.
push it.
Push the limit. Get those arteries up. Okay, and then a couple more things is that there was this like initial round of layoffs where I think everyone kind of panicked, but I know a lot of people didn't. I mean, even myself included, like didn't quite know what the full scale was. So you don't want to jump to conclusions. But now you're seeing that it's going to be longer than expected. So there's this whole second round of layoffs happening and job cuts. And people who thought they were safe aren't. And they're saying that, 20% plus unemployment is possible.
That's Great Depression in terms of unemployment. And I think that I
actually think that is undershooting it, not to be alarmist. Like if we're under the assumption that most restaurants can't reopen,
Yeah.
most retail can't reopen. So it's different. I'm not saying that they can't be repurposed, but if those businesses can't reopen, who's funding these new set of businesses that need to take over these spaces?
Yeah, I don't understand how it's not 50%. Who's working?
Right.
Like literally who is working? Hardly anyone.
Like when, like the
Construction workers.
decimation of retail, like who's going to be comfortable going to a Nordstrom and like just touching clothes and whatever?
Yeah,
That's gross.
I mean, eating in a restaurant.
That seems unconscionable.
I don't even like using my credit card and swiping out at a grocery store. It's like disgusting.
And
to
now
me.
changing rooms, how do you try on something?
gross.
If you try
Disgusting.
it, trying on is the poorest thing.
I'm
can
telling
do.
you, our perception has changed forever.
Yeah.
Did you just say that? Oh my God.
You live in another fucking world. I don't know your world.
I think my perspective has changed.
I like to
The other
try
day,
it.
actually, I went to In-N-Out and they finally started, like they hand the credit card scanner out of the window and you put your card in it yourself. mine wasn't working, so she grabbed it to do it, and I was like, ugh.
With her hand, or did she have a glove?
She had a
on?
glove, but I don't care. A glove doesn't mean anything because that glove still has everyone else's stuff.
Yeah.
And it felt so gross to me, this woman touching my credit card for 5 seconds.
Oh, it's
and
disgusting.
I have to believe that sticks with me for life.
Yeah. You're never going to... If you really think about the human interaction and all these levels, it does have a massive impact on the economy because people are not going to want to interact with other people for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, like we may have just like killed friendliness.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, that was overrated.
I mean, I literally feel like now in the time when the country was the most depressed because we were on our cell phones too much and polarized because we all hated each other, we are now more depressed because we just tripled our screen time, and now we're scared to death of each other because we literally think the other person is a zombie that's going to...
Yeah, so next time you want to play music outside your balcony, shut the hell up!
Shut the fuck up!
I get look like a terrorist when I'm running outside now.
I bet.
Yeah, people are just like giving me nasty
Maybe your
looks.
neighborhood is much worse than... Maybe it's time to move. I don't get that bad of a look when I'm running. I mean, people are giving me the head nod.
No, there's no head nods in my neighborhood.
That's weird. Okay,
next up. You want to talk... Oh, my God. I'm so pissed. I am pissed. So, freaking Sleepy Joe is the guy, right? Oh my God, I'm so pissed. So Sleepy Joe's the guy. We're going to act like he should be president, and we're going to pretend like he remembers words. And then, we all sat in here on Monday, and we talked about like, this can't be the case. Obama's been quiet. They're going to hit us with some last minute candidate to send them all the way home. This is what's going to happen. There's no way they're betting on Sleepy Joe. They are fucking betting on Sleepy Joe. Not only did old man Bernie come out and say, I endorse you, Sleepy Joe, but Obama has officially endorsed the Sleepy Joe.
12-minute video.
Gosh.
At making sure he endorsed Joe Biden, but he also said he'll be surrounding himself with good people, like people that remember things. That people that are not sleeping. He didn't say that, but...
It's literally Weekend at Bernie's. They're going to be propping him up. Like, look, our president's still alive.
And so, I mean, experts, scientists, military officials, he pretty much said he's going to be surrounded by a bunch of people that will be paying attention. Don't worry if this guy is taking a nap.
Yeah, so my prediction 2 days ago of a contested convention has been completely debunked in 48 hours. Now you have Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders, two opposite sides of the Democratic Party, if you think about their worldviews.
Yeah.
So it's over. It's Sleepy Joe.
I lose a lot of faith in...
Or it's over for him and it's Donald Trump as our president.
So
No, that's for sure.
I was just seeing Barack Obama's tweet, and he actually hasn't even been that active on Twitter recently. He has 115 million followers, and the Donald has 77 million. How much do you think that pisses Trump off?
Oh, for sure.
That's a lot of followers.
He's
so
almost
bad.
2x the Donald.
Yeah.
But what the fuck are you doing, man? Yeah. Like, I had so much faith in Obama, and I really am losing it. Like, what are you doing?
But
are you just sick of the stress? He should
say nothing. I'd rather him say nothing.
They should have picked a better candidate.
So maybe it wasn't all this backroom dealing. Maybe Joe Biden just sneaky and won.
Maybe Joe Biden goes, I got dirt on you, I got dirt on you, I got dirt on you. I may not remember it, but I got it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
Let me go find it.
It's in one of those drawers. I don't know. I mean, I have to believe that they decided this was the best bet because they could rally around him and get done what they need to get done. But they probably didn't expect him to just flub his words on every interview.
Yeah, maybe, everyone suspects he has dementia. Maybe they didn't realize it was this bad.
I mean, this is what's going to happen. We're going to demolish Donald Trump for the way he handled the coronavirus. They're already starting to go so hard on him because of that New York Times article. And then he's going to get reelected.
Like even Trump's turned on Fox News. Because even Fox News is now finally airing some negative Donald Trump commentary.
What's the other really alt-right?
OANN.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what it stands for. He said...
Our American Network?
Yeah.
I think it is.
You knew that way too quickly.
Yeah. Pete's like, I love their news.
No, it's One
I'm secretly running their news.
One American News.
One
It's some alt-right news channel that has sub 1 million followers, and Trump over the weekend said Fox News is a lousy station. Everyone should go look at alternative news sources like One American News.
I like it.
Well, there we go. So that's what's going on. So we're going to have literally a complete meltdown and then 4 more years of Donald Trump.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. Welcome to America 2020. Next up, in America in 2020, some other strange things happened. One of those things is that the undeniable new place to get a song to become a hit is not the radio. It's not Kylie Jenner's Snapchat. It's not any of those things. It's fucking TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I think Drake, that's kind of been happening. There's been these little moments happening. What was that guy's song? Virginia, or what was that guy's song? No, that guy, Arizona.
Zervest.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Roxanne. That song was like really charting. That guy came out of nowhere. That was all because of TikTok. There's been these moments that I think people have kind of seen. But Drake is number 1 with his new song.
Tootsie Slide.
He says it's a warm-up record, not even the real deal, which I believe.
I love the record.
Love it. Why not? And the way that he marketed it was with a big dancer on social media and had the dancer make up a song. And it blew up. It blew up on TikTok right away. Now it's the number 1 song. And I think because it's Drake, people are now saying, oh, shit, this is the place.
And I think the thing that he did that's different is he actually released the song to this particular dancer before it even came out.
We did it to multiple dancers.
Yeah, which I think that's a much different strategy of just focusing on TikTok to make your song explode. Is like, screw it. It doesn't even matter. I'm just going to give him the song 2 weeks in advance and let him go.
Has any artist in the history of music perfectly executed for this long? It's just like every marketing scheme he does is literally way beyond anyone else. Thinking. He's always thinking like 4 steps ahead. Did TikTok approach him and say, "Hey, do you have a hot song?" Or do you think he just came up with it?
I mean, just take it back to when he was one of the first people who just released albums. Didn't do any
no press.
If you're reading this, it's too late. He just released it.
You dropped it out of nowhere.
And it became this whole way of now releasing music where people just drop albums.
And remember God's Plan? He did that video giving away all that money and stuff.
Yeah.
He's always been so good at it.
Yeah.
It's just like...
I mean, he, to me, is...
And now it's not like a short amount of time. When did he come on the scene?
10 years.
2008?
Yeah.
It's talking 12 years of this?
It's been on top. He is like the Beatles, Michael Jackson.
No question.
He's on that level of like artistry.
And this just proves that he knows how to stay relevant better than anyone, because 12 years in, he's not getting lazy. He's obviously so rich. Everyone saw his home in Architecture magazine. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I could hide in there and you'd never know I was looking at it.
I mean, he's filmed a whole music video just trying to get around it. Like literally,
we didn't even see the backyard.
that became a trend on TikTok where, like, anytime that song plays, you just have to start giving a house tour.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's not as interesting.
Not nearly. No. Yeah, he's just a genius.
I think it's a fun, positive news, and like that, like, for music, he's considered old. What is he? He's early 30s. And like
he's 86, right?
Yeah.
So your age.
33, yeah.
33,
yeah. So like, most musicians they peak in their 20s. He's flying through his 30s.
Yeah.
Like kind of untouchable. I don't even see another rapper anywhere near.
Yeah, like a 33-year-old rapper dominating TikTok. TikTok is a app that's typically 16 to 22?
Probably
right?
even
maybe younger.
Yeah.
16 to 22? No.
What do you think?
Lower. It's literally like 11. No, I shit you not. They've come out with stats. It's like you're like 11 to like.
It's pedophilia.
Yes. Yeah. You're not even getting 18-year-olds.
Right. So think about how many TikTokers that probably didn't even care for Drake because he's aged out.
Their dad is Drake's age, right. Like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, now they're back. Yeah, and no one has been able to do. Who's ever done that ever? Like we talk about how Jay-Z, like 444 was a great album. He aged well. Blah blah blah. This guy has the biggest song on the youngest platform 12 years in.
Yeah, because I would give credit to Jay-Z. He aged well as a businessman.
Yeah.
Right?
And like, look, 444 was good. Like he talked about adult shit. Adults liked it. But no one on TikTok likes Jay-Z.
No one on TikTok heard of Jay-Z.
Exactly.
They haven't. They have no idea who that is. No. There's when you listen to the music, it's... what's the one song I went on TikTok the other day? It's everyone did the same. Megan Thee Stallion.
Yp.
What's that song
called?
Savage. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But that song is
just
charting.
mind-numbing.
Mind-numbing shit.
TikTok. So China not only shut down our economy,
They made
built
us
an
take over
app
the
to
music
make
industry.
us
Oh, they made us idiots.
They
Yeah.
just made us dumb. I'm a savage. Shut up.
Yeah, everyone's a savage these days.
Yeah.
Stuck at home.
I remember when we were growing up, at least we had Tupac and Biggie, and everyone thought they were a gangster.
No, now
What's
everyone's just
better?
a savage.
Just being an idiot
They're
or thinking you're a
sassy,
gangster?
bougie ratchet.
Yeah.
And they're tootsie sliding around there.
Everyone's just sliding everywhere.
Oh, my
I
God.
thought. Do you see Ciara and Russell Wilson? They'd had a good one.
They did?
Yeah. She
Oh,
can
you guys
dance.
posted it. Amanda posted it?
Yeah, man.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't watch it.
Speaking of the way that people view all these things, did you see that Apple looks like iPhones are back up in full manufacturing status?
And it also sounds like China's back to spending money.
Yeah, why not? What's the holdup?
Yeah, I mean, they're saying that iPhone shipments of iPhone have grown in the China market and into the American market now. So, I mean, Apple to me is a good indication of like probably top of mind purchase for most people. Like, you can't live without this device.
Yep.
So I think watching their sales, we did see that stat last week that iPhone sales in America were down like 56% for the month of March. So I'm curious to see if that's an item that will rebound without retail being open. I don't know. And I think that the lack of kind of excitement and marketing doesn't also create that urgency. Like if you got your $1,200, you're going to go buy a new phone or you're going to blow
I think
that
you'll
money.
be shocked at how people spend that money.
I don't think
I think they're going to blow it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're blowing it on iPhones.
There's no way you're looking at your iPhone and going, I need a new iPhone.
TikTok accessories
I think
for your
you're
dance.
wrong. I think you see $5,200 hit your account.
That's different. Not
1200.
everybody's
We're talking
getting
1200.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk
sorry,
1200.
whatever. You see the
It's just
$1,200
12.
hit your account right now. Things aren't too bad, and you've been dying to get your hands on that iPhone 10 Max X11.
If you have like 2 brain cells, you can realize how much more you can do
So
with
what
that
would
money.
you do?
If,
Look
I-
at
if I'm
where-
gonna go blow it, I'll blow it other places.
Okay,
You
where
can
would you
get
blow
so
it?
much
Where?
more.
$1,200.
Yeah, go in the sales. Go do all that. I would literally go look at clothing and all these other companies that are offering sales.
But what if you have an iPhone SE with a cracked screen? You're
That's
not gonna,
different. Okay, if you're talking iPhone SE,
That's what we're talking about.
What's
here.
iPhone SE?
like
just
if
old.
it's like an old shitty one. But I think the majority of people have the 10 already, or like around there that they're just like it's
You are
not worth the
crazy.
money.
I don't think most people
You've
have
been in
iPhone
LA
10.
too long, bro.
He's been listening to the podcast. Too.
Yeah,
you
nobody
became-
has that. Most people are walking around with a shitty phone.
Yeah, you just entered the bubble, man. You can't see out anymore.
No, I can. I've always been able to see out. A lot of these opinions that I take
He's in
from
a
other
sunken
places.
place
Yeah,
of
we love-
riches.
we
This
got
isn't
him.
even LA.
We
I
got
don't
him.
see anybody out anymore.
Yeah, man. You don't. Yeah.
I mean, you're saying back home everyone has the hot new iPhone?
Generally.
They do.
Or at least a year or two old.
I feel like young people were able to do it because of the payment plan, right?
Yeah.
Like a 22-year-old,
The payment plan was a game changer.
they can scrounge up $75 a month to get the lowest version.
Yeah.
Is that how much it is? I think it's lower.
I think it's
$75. That's a
Well,
lot.
that's for just a phone. Phone payment, you get like $35-40 a month.
There you go.
it's nothing.
But that's just phone, but then there's insurance and there's all the other
Because you can
costs.
finance everything thanks to all these financing platforms.
which should all disappear in very shortly.
I'm just saying, all the money,
on all their loans.
all the stimulus money is going to be spent on products owned by companies that are getting bailed out anyway.
Yeah.
It's all just going to be this big circle.
I used the payment plan on the iPhone. I was like, why would I pay
Why wouldn't
the
you? Yeah.
full amount when it's
Yeah.
interest free?
I got
It's a
suckered.
great
I paid
deal.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
a great
paid for
deal.
it?
I
I have
bought
a small crack in my phone. Am I screwed?
What do you, in terms of what? What are you
Like,
trying to,
I obviously
you want
can't
to
get
get
it
it
fixed.
No, you're good.
Why didn't you get
Just
the
don't
screen
drop it in
protector?
water.
Just don't drop it in water. Okay.
What about the screen protector? You should have got the screen protector.
Oh, no.
Come
Do
on.
that.
It's
Fucking
balling,
old
come on.
guys.
They
don't get it.
That's a status symbol, I think.
Yeah.
A screen protector.
No, a completely bare phone.
Ah.
You know?
No, completely bare phone is a status symbol. I have been lectured by like my tech friends. Like, why would you ruin a beautifully designed product like the iPhone with a case?
Yeah.
So do they wear condoms?
I've actually been lectured by Anand. I'm not sure that their dick is beautifully designed.
It's surely not worth
Steve Jobs
$1,200.
didn't design their dick.
If he did, they would not would have.
If Steve Jobs designed my dick, that would be, then you can.
I wish the title of this episode could be Steve Jobs designed my dick.
Let's make it that.
Okay. All right. Next up. Damn it. This to me proves my point about where the $1,200 is going and the priorities of the country and I know a lot of people, including my dad, are going to be offended by this. One industry that is seeing a really bright future,
Unbelievably bright.
bookings are actually up 40%.
Yep.
Listener, I'm going to give you 1 second to just think to yourself, what industry could see a 40% rise in bookings for next year right now in this time?
Like, why would you even think? What would you think about spending on for next year?
Next year. Times are tough now, but
And are
look,
these Americans? Do we know that?
Obviously, who else takes these?
I mean, come on. Big house,
You think
lots of
foreigners
debt.
take this shit?
Come on. Okay, the answer is cruise lines. People are booking their cruises for next year. So this makes me think maybe all these long-term effects that we talk about are bullshit.
Yeah,
and
it
people will be
doesn't matter.
hugging and kissing and spitting all over each other.
People
in July.
can't help themselves.
A cruise?
They love cruises.
So it confirms my view of coronavirus. I think our age demo, 30 to like 45, who's educated / earns a decent living, is taking corona really seriously.
Yeah.
And then you have young people who don't give a fuck, and you have old people who don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And I'll tell you why. The reason being is the stage of life we are at, we have the most to lose. Because we probably have families, we probably have mortgages, and it's very different. So a person in their 70s, like our parents they have a Mexico trip for a wedding planned in January. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to Mexico in January?
Oh, your parents are part of the...
Yeah, I mean, like
booked it.
they had.
I mean, my parents will too. Man. They might go together.
They had to reschedule a wedding.
Yeah.
That was that got canceled. So I'm like, it's in January in some resort town, and I'm like, so are you guys on an early list for vaccine that you guys get to go on that trip and I don't get to go? Like, I don't understand what
Maybe they have more juice than we think.
they have. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think there's this older mentality of like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I think
our age demo is also entering into our highest earning years. So like, if we're going to make it, it's like the next 5 to 10 years, we have a shot to do really well.
Yeah.
And
Why take that risk?
Why take the risk?
And I would also argue that we're just old enough that we're not completely in the clear, but we're
Right.
young
That's also a good
enough
point.
that we're like still trying to get our future set.
Sure.
If you're so young, you're like, it won't affect me. If you're so old, you're like, fuck it. I mean,
Right.
how much love, whatever.
And I'll tell you,
And like an older person, they've just been through a lot. Like our parents came to this country with no money and had to start from nothing. They're probably like, fuck Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even see that in my dad. Like my dad is just on some, like just kind of on the edge of like, fuck it.
Yeah. And
Like,
here's
you're
a
gonna make
more.
me sit in my house at my age. Like come on.
And this is part of this report. They also reported that 76% of those whose cruises were canceled as a result of the pandemic have opted to take a credit for a future trip instead of asking for a refund. They want to make sure they don't even care about the money. They want to go on this fucking cruise.
So I think the cruise lines are doing some trickery there, not laying out the options, confusing old people. Hey, just use credit. We'll add 25% in food tickets.
Yeah.
Like
Probably.
some
They
sort
get
of.
'em with that.
But
The
here's the
buffet.
thing. And they're like, wait, you get 25% lobster, unlimited lobster legs?
Yeah.
Or
I think
whatever. I
that's
don't even know
all
what you eat
trickery
of
of cruise
lobster.
liners taking advantage of consumers that
You're right.
just are like so passionate about cruise lines they don't realize they get the money back.
Because there are people, it's funny you say passionate, there are people who are cruisers.
Yeah.
Ah,
They just jet
Like-
set on the
Oh, they
ocean
call themselves
all year
cruisers.
round.
That's what I assume. But I
So it's
assume
different from David Geffen's cruise.
Yes, they're very different.
very different. Yeah.
And I think that like there's people that go on a cruise every Christmas, every summer. They go 2 a year, and they're knocking out like they've done 30 cruises their year, and they're like, this stupid virus, this China virus, isn't going to hold me back.
Yeah.
China.
This Kung
China
flu is
virus.
not holding me back. China. That's where it comes from. China.
China.
Okay. Well, listen, man. Everyone, good luck. I just want you to spend your money where you see fit,
Yeah.
and I think we'll all, we'll be fine.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I gotta run. The rest is on you guys.
Pete.
The rest is on Pete. Pete, you're filling in. Okay. I think the people like you more than me anyway, if we're being honest. So they'll be just fine with this. My mask is on. I'm following guidelines. And I'm out of here.
Good luck out there. Guys, I'm back for another ad. I keep the energy high because that's what the people like. Guess who's back with another ad?
Okay, who's back?
Think Jinx.
All
And I'm
right.
saying it right this time.
Thank you.
Because last time it was such a tongue twister, I even went back and listened myself. I was messing it up. I got it down this time. I practiced every night.
What do you got for us, Pete?
Think Jinx. Let me tell you about them. I went and read my label at lunch today about the food that I'm eating. Generally, I tend to eat, on the side of healthy.
Okay.
I get some nice things from the grocery store. That shit is nothing compared to Think Jinx. I went onto their website. I'm talking organic chicken, avocado, salmon. I don't find these things in my meals.
Dogs are eating better than Pete.
Yes.
When's the
That's
last
generally
time-
what it's coming down to at this point, and it's starting to get scary because I'm really starting to take notice.
When's the last time you had a piece of salmon?
I don't even know. I don't even know. But you know who should be having salmon is your dog because it's healthy for them. It's so good you won't even know you're reading a kibble ingredient list because it sounds like something you'd want to eat for dinner too. Generally, I'm not kidding at this point. If it comes down to it, I'm gonna get Think Jinx.
And at least you have a coupon code.
Yeah, coupon. I hope they're hooking me up for free. But for you listeners at home, go use the code group chat. You get 20% off. There's no artificials, corn, wheat, or soy ever. Only the good stuff.
I feel like I eat soy and corn wheat in all my meals.
Can you clarify it's for dogs, Pete? 'Cause you keep talking about it like it's for humans.
I know it literally sounds so good. My mouth waters just reading their ingredients, and it's not even funny.
So it's for dogs.
Yes, apparently.
Okay.
I'm convinced it might be for humans, but apparently it's for your dog.
I think the next episode he should just try eat it.
I think so too.
I think it's only leading to that. I'm doing 14 shots and eating Think Jinx. And it's so be it. All right, well, thank you, Think Jinx. We always appreciate the support. Guys, head over to thinkjinx.com. Use code GroupChat for 20% off.
All right, on to this other topic. So we've talked about SoftBank a lot on this podcast. SoftBank arguably is the worst performing fund ever.
There's got to be worse.
We know publicly this is the worst performing fund. So SoftBank, for those that don't know, is a Japanese fund. Mayoshi Son is their leader, and he took early bets on things like Uber, WeWork, made all of his money off Alibaba. Like he was dead broke. His stake in Alibaba is his most valuable investment.
It's just genius.
I mean, okay, he did one thing right. He gave WeWork billions of dollars too. So maybe he's a moron. One of his bets was a company out of India called Oyo Rooms. And Oyo Rooms is a hotel business. Similar, would you say it's focusing on kind of the Indian business traveler? Is that what it is?
So the backstory of Oyo Rooms is actually super interesting. So the founder of Oyo Rooms is a guy named Ritesh Agarwal. He was an orphan. He became a Thiel Fellow at the age of 19. Thiel Fellow is basically Peter Thiel effectively incubates a handful of the smartest people in the world that didn't go to college and helps them with resources to start their business. Out of the Thiel Fellowship, he came up with the concept of Oyo Rooms. Oyo Rooms originated in India, and it's basically standardizing hotel offerings for the mass traveler in India. So think in India, if you're at the 3 and 4 star level of hotels, there's no guarantee of running water, clean sheets, whether electricity is going to be on. And it's just kind of a free-for-all. And the concept was awesome. So he basically made it so that anyone who's traveling across India as a business traveler, tourist, anything, think middle-class India. Middle-class India is not a lot of money.
Yep.
Right? And they now have a standardized product that they go to a Oyo flagged hotel. They know they're going to get basic necessities, which is super important.
Great. Lovely idea. Should exist. Should work. SoftBank thinks the business is worth $10 billion.
Yeah.
And gave this young man who's now 26 years old, a lot of money and invested in this business. One thing, Mayoshi-san said, it's unimaginable. At 25, he's going to be the world's biggest hotel king. He put his money where his mouth is. He also personally guaranteed a loan of $2 billion,
Mayoshi did.
Mayoshi-san, to this young man. $2 billion to buy company stock.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty public. What Ritesh and Mayoshi did was basically they wanted to be effectively the only two owners of the business. And Mayoshi-san gave a $2 billion loan for the CEO to buy more company stock back. This isn't money in his pocket.
Yeah.
This is literally just so that they're the only two owners of the business that have any say.
Yeah. He personally guaranteed it.
That's crazy. That news was not public until this week.
Okay. He's going to lose all that money because this company's not worth $10 billion.
Not in today's market.
It's not worth a fraction of that.
I mean, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, if it was publicly traded, it maybe doubled. Like
it would
when?
have doubled like when? You close your doors, you double in the public market.
And, this company had ambition of going outside of India, which I think was, in my opinion, a bad move. They owned India. They should be the king of India.
They're all over the world. So they're huge in China. So maybe their China business is popping.
Maybe China business traveler is back. But in a place like India, which is going to have a severe impact with Corona, and this guy personally guaranteed, Mayoshi's son is coming out to be a big idiot.
So I think
he's just chucking money around.
And it's not, this is actually his money.
Yeah.
The rest of it wasn't his.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. He's known to just taking big swings.
Yeah.
And, when it's other people's money, who cares? But this is his personal guarantee of $2 billion.
Yeah.
Which means he actually believed in him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. It just unfortunately, I just don't see how this is worth anything longer term, given that the hotel business is clearly shrinking.
Yeah, no, it was a risky bet. And if we think Airbnb is going to be hurting, this will get hurt.
Yeah,
I think as much.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And last bit of news is JP Morgan released earnings today, said brace for recession. Wells Fargo released earnings, brace for recession. Stock goes up. All of them go up, one after another. The only stock that went down on Thursday was Peloton. And only fractionally after having a monster 10% gain the day before. Stock market is, I don't know if you guys remember this. You guys were probably too young. In 99, 2000, Alan Greenspan was the head of the Fed, and he said what was happening to the stock market was irrational exuberance. And it became like a famous quote because all these companies that were essentially doing very little revenue were doing billions of dollars. There was nobody on the internet at the time. It just didn't make sense. And what happened? There was the dot-com bust and everything collapsed.
Yep.
This is what this feels like. This does not feel like 2008 because 2008, when the dominoes fell, everything fell.
Right.
Now, this is even more obvious in 2008 because no one even knew what credit default swaps.
Yeah, it was confusing.
No one knew what was going on. This is like...
It took The Big Short for everyone to understand what was going on.
Yes. And then now the common sense person, which let's take Taylor as our common sense investor. He would just walk down the street from where he lives to the office to record the pod today, said, I walked down the street, everything is closed. I don't understand how the stock market's up.
Yeah, that was his stripper moment when Steve Carell and The Big Short.
Yeah. And I think that's really what's happening is that no one understands what's going on. If Taylor, I would say, is on the higher end of intelligence, is taking this approach and losing big time as an investor.
Huge time.
You're obviously betting against the market, and it's got to be frustrating just to be losing money every single day, Taylor.
Obviously. You see how much anger these newsletters are getting?
Yeah. And I think that, earnings are supposed to come out. Everyone has warned that they're going to not report any guidance going forward. Everyone's saying they're just, fuck it, we're not going to share the information. And the stock market keeps going up.
Yeah, there's no explanation for it other than the Fed forcing the big institutions that control the stock market. You have to keep buying because BlackRock and these other types of institutions can manipulate the market. They have enough cash to make stocks go up or make stocks go down. And that's the only explanation because the underlying asset, which is the business, is shut.
Yeah, I agree. I'm at a loss for words on that. I don't understand.
And then one breaking news, the government has reached in principle to bail out the airlines.
Great.
So the airlines will be getting funding to make sure that airlines can't furlough or cut the pay rates of any employees through September 30th.
Does that mean the market's going up more?
You know, I
got to run.
I looked at airline stocks while we were recording. Like, they actually haven't gotten the benefit of any of this, really. And they're the first ones that are going to get bailed out. Like, if I were to think, sure, airlines business, they're shut too, but like, the U.S. can't exist without having national and global carriers that are originating in the U.S.
Yeah.
You can't just give up that advantage to the world. So they're going to be fine.
Yeah, agreed.
American Airlines is up 10% after hours right now.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. So what I saw on social, I mean, I saw it all over the internet last night, was Chris Cuomo, the brother of Andrew Cuomo, governor, who is on CNN, did some radio show and just had a complete meltdown and really signaled, you know, that he doesn't like what he does for a living. He doesn't feel like, I don't know, like he respects himself for what he does because he knows it's full of shit. And I think what is an interesting thing is Chris Cuomo has become one of the faces of this kind of media, you know, explosion. And he said, I don't like what I do professionally. I've decided I don't value indulging irrationally hyper partisanship. I don't think it's worth my time anymore. He says, I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally. And he said that he was outside of his Southampton house who, you know, he's been identified as having corona. He was outside with his family and some jackass loser, fat tire biker who claims he got in his face to talk bullshit to me. So he got into an altercation and then he called this guy a jackass loser, fat tire biker.
So he's lost his mind.
He's lost his mind. And I appreciate it. It's like, you know, people are equating it to like his Jerry Maguire moment where like he kind of, I think Matt Belitsky said that on social media. And I think that's super interesting because maybe people are growing a conscience in this crazy kind of pandemic that like, okay, at some point I have to draw the line. I can't allow this chaos and this stupidity to continue. I value my life. He doesn't need money. He's rich.
Yep.
So he has the luxury of just flipping out and ruining his job.
Right.
He's now backtracked and said, I do love my job.
He wants that CNN paycheck.
I'm sure that CNN
7 figures has to be.
Yeah, it's definitely in the millions. He's prime time. He's a big anchor for them. Ratings are probably through the roof because of Corona.
So you think CNN keeps him on because any other time a network would fire anyone that bashes him. So they're going to keep him on because now everyone's going to tune in. What's he going to say?
Yeah,
CNN's reality television.
Yeah, see, CNN loves it. It's good. It's good for the business. They'll have his stern conversation because we don't like.
So who does that? Anderson Cooper and Cuomo one-on-one?
The interview?
Yeah.
No, you can't even be near him. The guy has corona.
No, the Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, he'll do an apology on like tonight's episode or something, and we'll go back to normal.
And speaking of CNN, we posted it, I think, yesterday on our Instagram. They've removed the debt tracker.
Yes.
Because it's not as exciting.
That's your on social?
No, I have another one.
Okay.
But they removed the debt tracker. So everything we were mocking CNN for, we were right. They weren't trying to deliver the news. They weren't trying to inform citizens. No. All they were trying to do was get ratings, fearmonger, get people to tune in to CNN. Maya seen on social, we should post the clip. Trump, at his press conference yesterday, was completely unhinged. Not that he isn't on other days, but particularly yesterday. He made the claim that the president has ultimate authority and whatever he says goes, which is actually not how the Constitution has been drafted hundreds of years ago.
In his head, though.
But so we're in a federalist country where states have power and the federal government has power. And Trump said, no, I have power over everyone. That is literally the playbook of a dictator, not a democratic president in a federalist government. And I guarantee no one cares.
Of course not. Because the people who follow him don't know what the Constitution is. They just said, Second Amendment.
Yeah, give me my gun. Give me my gun and shoot minorities.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't care about it. You're not rational if you like Donald Trump. So it doesn't matter.
Yep.
That's it. See you Friday.
You didn't ask me about my scene on social?
Okay, let's go,
whatever.
Pete. Let's go, Pete. He's probably a good one.
So, there's a conspiracy out there about Carol Baskin.
I didn't watch it.
and the Tiger King. Well, the new episode's out. I don't care about it. It wasn't even cool, I heard. But there's a Tiger King's conspiracy theory that Jeff Lowe really was Carol Baskin's first husband and was sent to set up Joe Exotic. So
all that means gibberish to me.
I'm sure it means a lot to the Tiger King fans.
yes,
Okay.
Why have neither of you guys watched Tiger King yet?
I don't watch anything like
you can't.
So I passively watched it. Amanda had it on, and I was just kind of doing things in the background. I lost interest after the first episode.
I mean,
don't
you
watch,
watch
like,
some
any-
dumb shit.
Yeah, but I don't. I like dumb comedies.
This is a hilarious
This is
comedy. This is
hilarious.
the funniest comedy ever.
I
But
know.
it's just kind of watching real-time degradation of like our society. Just
Real-time
isn't-
what?
Like degradation of our society. Like
She's
watching
using
our
too big of words for people who watch Tiger
society
King.
bad. Society
You lost me there. I was like, who to what?
It's just like I mean I'm all for dumb frivolous content like in small bites. That's what I like Instagram for and Twitter. I don't need long extended dumb content.
Jesus Christ.
You're missing out on some good stuff.
Okay, let's just get back to drinking sodas.
yeah.
It's too much.
But what's the argument for it? Just a compelling, funny real life story that
That Carol Baskin killed her husband.
It's so ridiculous. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost eye-opening to see this is how people live.
Yeah.
And this is how people in America live, especially.
it could be an
Especially
age
in the
thing
South.
because in my fantasy football chat with a bunch of boomers 35 and up, like no one really cares for the Tiger King.
Well, maybe millennials didn't know this part of America existed. I
Right.
didn't know there's people like.
Yeah, it's like shocking. There's weird shit going on in the Midwest in places we didn't hear about.
Yeah. I thought people in the Midwest were like Pete, like weird and simple,
Oh no,
but not
this,
like.
this
weird.
type of shit is right up the alley for the
I
Midwest.
mean, just Google Florida, man. That's
Yeah.
Tiger King.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah, literally.
Yeah. I get why it's popular.
Yeah.
People like watching train wrecks.
Sure.
So that's fine.
Right.
Like people love murder.
Yeah.
Like all the shows, if you look at
And this has murder.
Yeah.
and
so when you look
Multiple
at the
husbands.
high stakes.
yeah, when you look at always the most popular shows,
Yeah.
it's around drugs, murder, sex, murder.
And this has
murder,
all
sex,
of that.
All of this and some.
And an
cats.
animal. You throw an animal. Animals are hot.
Exotic.
Yeah.
So just one more scene on social. A tweet I just saw related to the Massa son giving the $2 billion personal guarantee and how Dee thinks it's the dumbest fund of all time.
Yeah.
And the best explanation I've heard so far is Massa is a CIA asset, and this is the fastest way to drain money from the Saudis. Because the Saudis funded the entire South Bank.
Okay.
Amazing.
It's good.
All right. See you guys Friday.
Enjoy.